way we grow and produce food is ever-changing, shaped by consumers and the climate in which we live and farm. Research at all points of our food system is essential for continuously improving food's journey from farm to table. The Manitoba Agriculture and Food Knowledge Exchange explores timely research innovations and applications that make our food system better than ever. Join us for today's podcast.
Hello and welcome. This is ChangeMAKErs, a Manitoba Agriculture and Food Knowledge Exchange, otherwise known as MAKE, podcast series with me, Chantal Bassett. In each episode, we'll chat with an academic member of the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences at the University of Manitoba to find out about the research and innovation they're working on and how this is shaping agriculture and food production in Manitoba and around the world. As the research facilitator for the faculty, I get to work with all our incredible innovators, and I think it's high time for you to also get to know and discover their research as well as get to know the person behind these discoveries. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Anna Rogiewicz, Assistant Professor in the Department of Animal Science. Thanks for joining me, Anna.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me for this podcast.
So, Anna, before we get into the details about what you study, can you share how you got to where you are today?
It is rather interesting path. I'm actually glad that I went through because I graduated from the university in Poland, both my master and PhD programs. And then I studied the pig production and pig nutrition. I was really working with the fabulous people, get the great mentors, and I was really into the science. However, then I took a little bit of break, was working for the local municipality government. That was the time when Poland was about to join the European Union. Therefore, they needed people to run the project to kind of deal with this transition. And I like it. But then I realized that maybe science would be my path to follow. But I find out that the English is the lack of the proper English is a limitation for me. Therefore, I moved to England to work and learn and just get a break of science with the vision of going back to it at some point. It was a fabulous time and enjoyed so much, learned a lot. And then I may say it was a pure coincidence. Then I got a hint that there is a professor in Winnipeg at the University of Manitoba who's seeking for the postdoctoral fellow. So therefore I applied. I'm talking about Dr. Slominski, who invited me to be his associate, and I've been working with him for several years. Then I learned a lot because working with a great mentor is what we really would look for and enjoy and benefits. And then Dr. Slominski retired, and I sort of took over the research, carried on our existing project, and also kind of I started to develop my own projects, my own paths. So here I am. I got the assistant professor appointment, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, we're glad to have you here. So have you always been interested in animal nutrition, or when did that spark start?
I grew up in a farm. There was a farm in Poland. My father was actually a nutritionist, animal nutritionist. He was a manager in a feed mill. And so I was exposed to the rhythm of the farm work since I remember. Too bad my father passed away when I was too young to ask the professional questions. I believe right now we could have plenty of things to discuss. My mom also was involved in this farm management. So I grew up surrounded by dairy cows, sheep, geese, pigs. That was my playground. So it was sort of like the way to go. On the other hand, we spent the summer holidays in my grandma's place. So she was running the very small farm. I had a horse, 2 cows, a couple of pigs, and birds. So I was usually in charge of those birds. Since the very early age, I was really into agriculture. And I always admire the people who are working. As a lot of people says, it doesn't really matter if there's a wedding or funerals in a farmer's family. Work has to be done. So there's strong work ethic related to agriculture and farming always impressed me, and I've got a huge appreciation to those people involved in food producing. That was my playground, that was my life when I was a child, and it seems like that was the way to go.
So can you tell me a bit more about what the focus of your research now in terms of your own independent program?
I still followed the research approach which was developed and I felt very comfortable with. It's really focusing on the nutritional biochemistry and with the specific attention to the carbohydrates and the feed enzyme technology. So I've got the expertise in conducting very comprehensive evaluation of the chemical and nutritive properties of the both traditional and alternative feed ingredients, and which are intended for monogastric animals. My particular focus is on poultry, since I like this animal model and I developed the passion for poultry over the time. Research I'm involved now is focuses on enhancing the nutritive value of several feed ingredients for poultry, and I work on the formulating some nutritional strategies how to maximize the effectiveness in an animal diet.
Why would we want to explore this as an additive?
I should say that we've got quite a variety of the feed ingredients, and they will have a different properties depends and different application depends on the type of animals. Its age, as an example, they will have a different function if we're talking about the feeding young growing broiler chickens versus the mature egg-laying hens. This is very flexible and very complex study and complex research. And over the past few years, I was involved in a very extensive research on the utilization of canola meal, which is the co-product of the oil industry. And I was working about the utilization of this co-product for poultry and swine. The point is that canola meal is produced in a very large volume, and it's not directly used for human consumption, and therefore it's considered to be alternative feed ingredient for animals. So in our research, we focus on establishing correlation between quality of this byproduct with the processing conditions. Conditions could be adjusted such that quality could be enhanced. We also through our research, we demonstrated that canola meal has a really good quality and it's very viable source of protein for poultry and swine. And we demonstrated that it actually can be used in a larger amount, a larger inclusion than it was traditionally proposed. And so I may say that we achieved three major goals in this project. First of all, the byproduct of the oil industry could be effectively recycled by poultry and swine. Then, secondly, protein present in canola meal could be converted to the edible protein for human consumption. The third benefit would be that the nutritionists may use canola meal in animal diets with much better confidence and which is based on the science evidence that it's a really truly viable ingredient. So, and lately I also was involved I utilized my expertise in the determination of the glucosinolates in canola meal, so that the specific compounds present in the canola. So I utilized this expertise into the development of near-infrared prediction model for the measurements of those compounds in canola meal. The models were developed for seeds, but not really for canola meal, so it will serve as a very rapid, efficient tool to quickly assess the quality of canola meal by the feed industry or by processors. So I was glad that this project was very successful.
So Anna, what additives are you exploring these days?
So like many scientists in the field of animal science, my research is dedicated to exploring natural alternatives to antibiotics in poultry and swine nutrition. I'm driven more by a forward-thinking mission, and I call it to identify bioactive ingredients that could actively support health and overall well-being of animals. So that's the thing. I focus on investigation of the release of the bioactive compounds from various natural fiber components. I plan to continue working with fiber from feedstuffs such as barley, canola meal, yeast products, soybeans and other grains and oilseeds. And I also recognize the potential of these bioactive ingredients to be sourced from protein as well. So I'm looking forward to exploring this area further. And then in my research, the exogenous enzyme technology and the further processing is utilized to release those bioactive ingredients from feedstuffs. This would not only enhance the nutritive value, but also may lead to production of the novel feed ingredients or feed additives. That's why I hope to contribute to animal nutrition, to advancement of animal nutrition. The exogenous enzyme may sound kind of strange, but they are commonly utilized in our everyday lives and activities. Basically, not produced within the body, but instead are added externally to perform their specific functions. I may say they're present in the laundry detergent. They're used in the biofuel production, used in a wastewater treatment. Enzymes are also utilized in the food processing, like baking, cheese production, clarifying juices, brewing, etc. But also exogenous enzymes are extensively used in the animal production as a feed additives.
You talked about enzymes. So you're adding enzymes to what effect?
They improve digestibility of the nutrients. I may say they improve digestibility of the phosphorus, they improve digestibility of protein and of carbohydrates, and that would include the dietary fiber. Over the past few years, I had a great privilege working with Dr. Bogdan Slominski on the development and evaluation of the novel compounds which derive from yeast cell wall and also derive from canola meal fiber. The objective was to gain a deeper understanding how and why yeast or canola-based ingredients would improve the gut function in poultry when they are incorporated in the diets. So the work was essential into the development of multi-carbohydrates preparations and enzyme pretreated yeast products and also modified canola meal products for poultry. And it was done in a partnership with the industry collaborator, this is CBS Bioplatforms, which formerly is known as Kirin Biosystems. And they play a critical role as an industry partner, and they really drive the direction of the research forward. And then I continue the collaboration with this partner, and I may proudly say that this collaboration leads to both to fundamental science and research, and also it's very applicable and very practical for the industry and animal nutrition overall. I may say that I may remind that the fiber is a very complex structure, but it serves the critical role for plants. So it needs to be robust, it needs to be resistant to protect the plant, to provide the structural support, and first of all, protecting the genetic material in seeds. In consequence, it is relatively challenging for both animals and humans to digest it when it's consumed. So additionally, fiber always also wrap the other nutrients around, making them less available for digestion and absorption in our digestive system. So breaking down the fiber is a challenging and tough task. However, as I mentioned earlier, using feed enzymes can help to cut the fiber in the smaller pieces. And through this enzymatic action, the substantial portion of the dietary fiber could be broken down into smaller polysaccharides, and therefore their bioactivity will be enhanced. They may serve the very specific physiological role in the gut. They may act as prebiotics in animals. They will improve the overall animal health and particularly the gut health and the dynamics which are going on in the digestive tract. In our research, we demonstrated that developed yeast-based and canola meal fiber-based bioactive, they've got this prebiotic effect in poultry. Prebiotics are in a sense the compounds which cannot be digested in our system, but they may be useful for the microorganisms that they live in and they have to function in our gastrointestinal tract, and they will support the growth of beneficial bacteria, and the same way will control the pathogenic organisms which are not really welcomed in a gut. Probiotics may make the birds healthier in two ways. First, they will provide the important nutrients for the beneficial bacteria. They will also fight pathogens by making the pH a little bit lower, which pathogenic organisms may not really like. And also they will kind of fill out the binding sites in a gut, so pathogenic bacteria will have no room to really attach and grow in the digestive tract, therefore will be removed. So this is very interesting part of this bioactivity they will exert. So therefore my goal is to find the right combination of enzyme to extract the most useful prebiotic components from the fiber, from the various feed ingredients. Recently conducted studies with turkeys, with laying hens as well, and the research demonstrated the effectiveness of those bioactives, and they positively affected the gut physiology and function of layers and turkeys. We tested 3 different types of yeast bioactives, and 1 type of the canola meal bioactive components. So what was interesting, they acted sort of like at different ways, and that was also goal of checking it. One way was to actively remove the bacteria, resulting in the decrease of the Salmonella or pathogenic bacteria. The second time was to reduce the proliferation of those bacteria, the growth by its action. And the third one was promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria, therefore kind of taking room from those pathogens and make them not really welcomed in the gut. So those bioactives obtained through the enzymatic hydrolysis of canola and the yeast cell wall, they really provided very interesting results. In one of my current research projects, I evaluate the pre and probiotics properties of organism called symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, and it is produced from various biomass material. This is a very interesting project. I'm very, very excited about this. It's conducted together with my fellow scientists from University of Calgary, from Chemical and Petroleum Engineering Department. So they will explore the conditions and methods of growing and processing this symbiotic organism. And I will then investigate its nutritive value, and I will check the ability to include it in a diet for layers. One rather unusual component of this research includes a collaboration with young artists who will then link the science and the art. I'm really looking forward to the effect of this collaboration. She's planning to have the exhibition and create the film, and also with the goal of the kind of stimulation of the discussion on this kind of cultural level, discussion connecting science and ecology and art. I hope that will be a unique and surprising perspective.
Yeah, that does sound like a unique perspective. It's not often that you see an interplay between the social, the natural sciences, the arts.
So we'll see how it goes. I'm actually exercising my collaboration skills in a sense, and learning new things. And as I mentioned, I'm very excited about this project, but I'm mostly excited about the collaboration with other researchers. I am always hungry for inspiration. I'm always hungry for other perspectives, for learning something new. So I'm looking forward to working with some individuals who've got the various expertise and may complement my research expertise, and also benefit from something which I can bring to the table. So that is I'm really looking forward. Over the years, I may say I developed quite a network of friends, colleagues, collaborators. We call them colleagues in crimes. So I'm really aiming for the collaborative projects I'm talking about colleagues from Canadian universities and institutions, but also from other places, like a few places in the United States. I've got the close collaborators in Poland, in Denmark, and I'm developing some collaboration with scientists from Spain. But of course, I'm thinking local too. So I will be, and I'm more than happy taking opportunity of collaborating with my colleagues within department and within faculty and maybe beyond. So that's me. I'm not a lonely wolf. I really, really would like to share and collaborate. That's also, to me, it's the way of making the research more applicable and more interesting as well. And I may say that the research is never done by one person. It's never just me. I'm very privileged working with the great associates, great graduate students. I always enjoy having undergrad students and get them more into the science and the hands-on work. So it's been a very nice journey. I work with the very nice and professional people.
Who's in your team?
Yeah, so I may say I feel a little bit empty nested now because just my 3 grad students just defended this season. So I will keep one as a technician. I work with a really good colleague of mine, Stella New. She just defended her PhD lately. She was very much involved in this canola project, very professional. I enjoyed working with her. She has great knowledge. And I've got a research associate, another research associate, and I will hire more students as the projects are progressing. I like teaching. I like be with students. I like have a hands-on. That was my previous life as well. I spent a lot of time in a lab, so I really know how science works, and I kind of miss it a little bit. So I should be more in the lab. So
too much time in front of the computer and meetings.
Yeah, believe me. So I have to ask. Maybe there's some cleanup needs to be done in the lab. I've been to. Yeah. So this is great stimulating environment in the lab, and also other technicians, other students from other researchers groups are being the really great addition to our research, and admire them, and I wish them all the best. I believe they will all succeed after they graduate.
So in terms of your lab space, you must have a main laboratory, but then do you rely on faculty resources? Like, where do you conduct the actual animal trials?
Yes, I am a director of the small animal research facility. We've got the 2 rooms in our department basement. So I may run the very, very simple, also they could be quite comprehensive animal studies with broiler chickens. So we may conduct studies to determine digestibility of nutrients and then availability of energy, and also we may check the efficacy of the enzyme preparations on the growth performance of birds. I've got the biochemistry lab well furnished, well established already in the Department of Animal Science. So I may have the expertise in, as I mentioned earlier, in the evaluation of the chemical composition with some quite unique expertise. The determination of non-starch polysaccharide, which is a great part of the dietary fiber. I may say it's a quite unique and I possess it. So it leads me also to collaboration with other scientists because I may offer this expertise. And I also collaborate with other professors within our department. So if we're doing some swine projects, so Dr. Nechotti or Dr. Rodas Gonzalez will be my person to work. I do also some studies with Dr. Chengbo Yang, and I'm planning to get Dr. Derkashani more involved in the studies which I'm planning. So I'm really looking forward to more busy time.
Yeah. So our listeners may have heard that University of Manitoba partnered with Manitoba egg farmers and received funding from the province of Manitoba through Manitoba Agriculture for a new Manitoba egg farmers learning and research complex. Do you envision utilizing that space for your research?
I've been waiting for this facility to be open for some time. It is a great place. It is a great place not only for public, for students to be trained, for kids to learn where the eggs are coming from, but also it's a good place to run the research. So I already got a few projects I'm planning to run there, and I will definitely look forward for more. So it is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, layers are a great animal model. It's so nice to work with. I've got a very soft spot for this.
Okay.
Ladies. Sometimes the only problem is such the studies with laying hens may be long in terms of time. So grad students who've got a usually limited time to 2 years, it may be a little issue, right? But still, nevertheless, that's just the thing which we have to live with. It's an absolutely great facility, and I hope it will be busy, that we will fight over the room to run the studies there.
And Anna, like some of our listeners, and I actually only learned this in the last couple of years myself, working with the faculty, is kind of like you mentioned broilers, you mentioned layers, like there's different types of chicken?
Yes, it is. Because the broiler chickens, those are the ones which we grow for, basically to produce the meat. So
Okay.
they're fast growing. They don't really reach the maturity. While layers, which we also probably call chicken, those are the mature ladies.
Okay.
Who are laying the hens, and we keep them for over the year, and they will eat and lay eggs. That's the thing. And also there are breeders. Those are the flocks which are designed to really lay the eggs, which then will be hatched and produce the growing animals or future layers.
So a producer would be probably feeding different feeds to different animal groups, and so that's the need for a nutritional biochemist such as yourself is to really evaluate the end goal.
Yes, that's exactly how it is, because because digestive tract of the young animals will be different than mature ones. Age, production stage, the young layers, which we call pullets, which are still growing and not laying eggs yet, will be fed differently from those which are already laying eggs. Calcium being example, they will need much more calcium to really kind of deposit in the eggshell. It is well established, the needs, the nutrient requirement. It is well established. We just have to make sure that those nutrients are actually really released from the feed ingredients, and animals will get whatever they really need.
So in terms of the animal nutrition field, you're saying that we've had some long-standing research on the actual nutritional requirements of some of the animals. It continues to be explored, but where the real true research and innovation is in ensuring that we're bioengineering these diets so that they're releasing the nutrients when we need them, and that perhaps feed needs to be modified throughout a lifespan?
The science is really needed to provide the evidence. We cannot declare that, it works because it works. We have to provide the evidence to build the trust. The feed industry have to be very confident of using certain approaches, of providing some changes. And the animal producer, they have to trust the nutritionist that, we're not really put anything on risk. Most likely we're not putting the animal well-being and health at risk. So the scientific evidence is critical here, and this is what we equipped to provide. And plus, we also have to address certain or many aspects related to environment. We have to make sure that we feed our animals the best possible way, and we also think clearly how it may affect the environment for the moving forward, because we have to be really, really confident that we're minimizing the footprint of the animal production without compromising animal health, animal well-being, and also producers may still provide enough good quality food for people.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is that producers are not, they obviously care about production and growth, but that there are ways to incorporate different elements to enhance their feed and therefore enhance the animals that they're doing. But then you also talked about, that there's that we could be using more byproducts from other sectors of the agricultural community, and how that could enhance different animal feed diets?
Right. The problem with byproducts is such that they may be produced in a large volume, and usually they've got some aspect which make a little bit less viable. That may be less protein content, less energy content, or excessive fiber as an example. That's why we have to come up with ideas how to utilize it and how to mitigate those limitations. Those are still products with the huge potential to be animal feed. It's not like we're feeding animal waste. Otherwise, animals will not eat if those not effective. But this is all really balancing. The agriculture and animal production plays actually very critical role in the recycling of some of these byproducts, giving the extra value to them, and also providing a valuable ingredient for their diets. Of course, the diets are composed of the various ingredients, and that's also another part of the art, to balance them, to mix them, that animals are happy to take them and they're healthy. There's not really much room to provide the huge improvement in the production, That's a success of the animal breeders. That's a huge credit goes to the producers themselves for their management skills and everything. But we have to make sure that animals they really have the life worth living. They in general healthy and they comfortable where they are, and they provide the food for their sources of the protein.
Have you ever seen any evidence of diet impacting the well-being, the health, the behavior of animals?
There's no really that easy measurement. It may be simple. If they don't like it, they will not eat it. If they have no other choice, then they will eat it. They will not produce. There will be some evidence of, let's say, in swine example, diarrhea or some kind of anti-nutritive effects. We pass the time. We know that nutritionists know, scientists know how to avoid it. Most of the anti-nutritive factors which could be present in the feed ingredients are very well known already. But definitely, that is all about this balancing, how much of the certain feeds to use in a diet, not to overuse it. I call it art of diet formulation because that's quite a art. So and I have to also give the huge credit to all the nutritionists in the industry. Oh my, those are really real professional people. They know the craft. So we scientists, we're not necessarily discovering something very, very new, but we're trying to identify the mechanism and improve certain knowledge. And as I mentioned earlier, to give them going forward with some confidence.
It's great to hear that you're discussing with industry members on a fairly regular basis, hearing what their challenges are, hearing what they have, what they're working on in terms of improving the diets for the variety of clients that they are supporting. But then you having the opportunity to go and explore and continue to work on some innovations. So what kind of messages are you hearing, and how is that impacting the research decisions you might be doing in the next few years?
It very much impacts because I cannot just do research for the sake of doing research. It has to have the meaning, purpose. And it comes from basically to addressing the industry need. Poultry industry in Canada is really nice to work with because it is supply managed. And we may have a close collaboration or at least discussion about the priorities with the board members of these organizations related to poultry production. Therefore, they represent the voice of the producers and concerns. Well, lately the industry faced the sort of other issues related to avian influenza, related to some improvement of the air quality in the barn and so on. So this research is also needed. But still, every farmer, every producer has to have the vision and plan B, what if, how to utilize feed ingredients if there will be shortage of let's say, wheat or soybean, the main ingredients which could be distributed more in a human consumption, as an example. So there are always questions that need to be answered and addressed. And the processor in industries which really are dealing with the byproducts, they have to have a plan what to do with them. So if, let's say, canola production is planned to be even more expanded, there will be likely more canola meal or other byproducts generated. We have to deal with this and address the quality of these products and so on. Our research is not really only directed to health of animals and their production. The entire prebiotics research and bioactives also leads to the food safety, because if we are producing the pathogenic bacteria in the gut, then ultimately we're producing more safe food for human consumption. So it does not really end at the animal level. It goes way, way beyond.
So Anna, are you making a prebiotic or are you adding one?
I'm actually making the prebiotic throughout the processing of the feed ingredients or fiber, like from yeast cell wall or canola. It is further processed with the collaboration of our industry partner, which I mentioned, and therefore it could be added to the diet as a novel product. So that's what I'm doing.
Is there a difference between prebiotic and probiotic?
Prebiotics will be basically the feed for the probiotics, which should be present in the gut.
An additive such as that, would it be added regularly, or would a producer choose to have kind of a baseline diet and they could make modifications on a case by case, or if they're seeing things evolve within their facilities?
Oh yeah, this is a very good question. It could be added as a feed additive along with other feed additives which are enhancing the production, but also depends of the will of the producers. They may be used also as an intervention when some issue, and it could be added. Some of those prebiotics may still be water soluble, so therefore the application way is also interesting. It could be added in the water. So there's a great potential. It's under the research. And yes, it could be used on a regular basis, and it could be used as an intervention.
So as an alternative to antibiotics?
That's the general idea. Yeah, because antibiotics, they worked, they controlled the pathogenic bacteria, not only to support animal health, but also to provide more safe food at the end. So by controlling the pathogenic bacteria with the prebiotics and probiotics, which are beneficial bacteria, we just make it better for animals and for humans.
So when gut health is impacted due to antibiotic use, let's say, the diets that you're formulating can enhance the gut health of animals?
Definitely, that is the ultimate goal. That if there is a microbiota in the gut, enhancing the microbiota in the poultry gut, make it more functional and benefit the health, that's what the prebiotics could help to achieve.
So Anna, you mentioned that you work with many collaborators across Canada and around the world, and also some industry partners, but you have one main industry partner. Tell me about this partnership.
Yes, I'm collaborating with the company called CBS Bioplatforms, formerly known as Canadian Biosystems. This collaboration started years ago and was fostered by Dr. Slominski. I'm happy to continue this collaboration with them. This CBS Bioplatform provides the enzymes, other additives to diets for poultry, swine, also cattle. Very driven, innovative companies. They're very keen on supporting the not only research but also education of the highly qualified personnel. Many graduate students were actually supported by them and now working in the industry or doing the prolific scientific careers. So very, very supportive company.
Tell me about one of the projects that you're working on together.
Right, there's several projects we work together towards the development of those bioactives from yeast cell wall and from canola meal. And I'm looking forward to further collaboration with CBS Bioplatforms in order to develop different types of bioactives ingredients for animals. The goal is really to gain the deeper understanding how or why those ingredients would improve the gut health of poultry and when they are incorporated into the diets.
Anna, who are the true users of your research?
Our research really benefits the animal producers, poultry producers, swine producers, because they will get scientific evidence related to using of the products. They definitely may have a little bit of advanced knowledge in what enzymes can do in the gut when they add it. So this goes really beyond just improving digestibility of nutrients. So the enzyme technology is not the really novel technology that has been used in the animal nutrition industry for years, but they are constantly improved. There are new enzyme activities, there are new organisms producing enzymes. This is very developing branch of the industry.
So Anna, how about finishing off by telling us one thing about yourself that's unrelated to your research?
One thing is not. No, I've got my life, I may say, a part of the research. My life is my family, my husband, my son. I love them, and I like the dynamic in our house. My husband is really into the music, so we've got quite a crazy collection of vinyls, albums, and our conversation always goes around the music than the science itself. My son is getting into this as well. I've been thinking about this lately, that sometimes we planning to teach our kids or learn how to play music, but quite often we forget how to listen to. And I've got some kind of very unique way of paying attention to the details, to the sounds, to the tunes, to the arrangements. So quite often I may say, I not focus about the certain artists. I may say I focus about the achievement of the music producers. Those are the people we follow, and I enjoy it very much. I wish I could have more time reading books and novels. I belong to the book club. I may be fired for not really fulfilling
there for the wine and dips.
Yeah. So I always was interested in the art and music. I've got a small collection of the posters. That's my favorite art type of, and then so this is what it is. My house is a rather artistic than scientific. So.
That's beautiful to hear.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes we think scientists and like blank slate, walls, very cold, and so
sometimes we are, but those the other people which are keeping us grounded, right?
Yes.
So, like on the ground and in the real life.
So Anna, thanks so much for chatting with me. This has been Dr. Chantal Bassett, joined by Dr. Anna Rogiewicz, Assistant Professor in Animal Science at the University of Manitoba. And that's it for today's episode of ChangeMAKErs, the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences Research and Innovation podcast. Join me in future episodes to hear about other fascinating research being led by agricultural and agri-food innovators at the University of Manitoba.